Hey, welcome. This is the first video that I have started for the Aperitivo Lounge. Welcome to the club. I am so excited to be doing this and be diving deeper every single month into my life here in South Italy, here in Palermo to be precise. So this is my December video. And it's interesting because the weather has been pretty diabolical. So for this month, I'm not able to kind of take you around and show you places and do some filming because there has just been a lot of strong rain and wind, and it's just the weather to be indoors. It's that type of season. So we are today, the 23rd of December. So tomorrow's Christmas Eve. And it's interesting because you can see I'm here in Palermo. I haven't gone back to the UK for Christmas. And this year, I have felt particularly guilty about this. And I do think this is a concept that you will experience if you decide to move to Italy, the so-called holiday guilt. Because there is a thing about life here in South Italy, and that is that family is really everything. It is what everyone's world centers around, is their family. Now, it's not to say that people don't have bad experiences with their family here, because they can do, and not every family here is perfect, even though on the surface it may seem that way. So I don't want to kind of create this romantic illusion because it's not real, but I do want to say that it can be difficult spending holidays here sometimes, particularly if your own family doesn't resemble like the family units here in South Italy. And a lot of people have been saying to me this year, are you going back home? Are you going to go back home for Christmas? And my answer has been like, no, I'm here. And I did intend to go back home this year for Christmas. This has been the 6th year that I've not spent Christmas in the UK. I have gone back to the UK, of course, in the course of this time, but just not at Christmas time. And the reason for that has usually been because I'm working. We had the pandemic, let's not forget that, in the middle of my time here in South Italy as well. That kind of disrupted everything for a couple of years. And then, of course, this year I actually took holiday leave over Christmas, which is something that I've never done. But then we have arrived at the point where the cost of flights was just ridiculous. I couldn't fly directly to London Gatwick, which is where I normally go to, because that route doesn't operate over the winter months. I'd have to go to Stansted, and then I'd have to take a hotel to come back because the flight was so early in the morning. It just all started to become really complicated and expensive. And so I took the decision this year to stay in Italy, and I will go back to the UK in the new year and see my parents and my family in this way. But it has left me feeling pretty guilty because I see just how much family is emphasised here in South Italy. And I just kind of wanted to talk about this because this has been something that I have really felt over the course of the 6 years that I've lived here. It's the sense that if your family unit looks different to what family units are like here, you can feel pretty weird and strange about that. I know that I have in the past, but I think the longer I live here, the more I realise that actually people here are not perfect, and that you can have family units that might see each other and message each other, but it doesn't mean that all is as it seems beneath the surface, you know? And so I am a bit more relaxed about how my own family compares to families here, because my own family is not as close as it could be. I don't really see a lot of my family at all. Probably the closest people in my life are my parents, my late grandparents, but of course they're not here anymore. So it's strange. I have a bit of a particular family dynamic, but I will say that this is it. This is my experience here. And I want to say that it's totally okay if you don't go home for the holidays. Like, isn't it funny how in society we have this thing, Christmas must be with the family? Yeah, it can be, but it's also equally ironic that not only do people say you should go back to spend time with your family, but they also give you coping mechanisms as to how to manage spending so much time with other people under the same roof for such a long period of time, you know? So there is this double-edged sword to spending Christmas with family if your own family isn't particularly close or like a traditional Italian family. But that's something that I've been navigating this month anyway. I think I've just become a lot more accepting of my own personal situation. And I think I've kind of lost the need to kind of feel like I have to create this illusion of a perfect family or, you know, or anything similar. I've just come to accept what I have as being what I have and make the most of what I have and the life that I'm creating for myself here. So I think that has really been the big mental shift that I have made, that has made these kinds of holiday periods a little easier to deal with. What else have I been up to this month? I've been working a lot. I've been thinking a lot about my 2025 goals, and It's interesting because I've also been very aware that I'm future tripping a lot. And so I've kind of stopped that for now. And I've been like, well, let me enjoy the build up to Christmas. In that kind of lull period between Christmas and New Year, that is when I will focus more on my 2025 goals. But let's enjoy each celebration as it comes. Because isn't it the case that, you'll go into a shop and they are already talking about the next celebration before the first one has even happened? Like, I'm going into shops here now in South Italy and there are already Happy New Year, like decorations and kind of offers already happening, but I'm like, we've not had Christmas yet. And then like, I can guarantee you in January, there'll be Easter eggs. And like, if I think back, even before Halloween, a lot of the places had their Christmas stuff out. It's like we are always running to something in the future without really enjoying each moment as it comes. So that's been an interesting kind of concept to navigate. But I'm definitely feeling like this year. I feel really relaxed. I'm so happy to have some time off over Christmas. I'm kind of spending today actually batch creating some content so that I can really truly relax over this period. But it's nice to switch off. I realise that, in my job, especially teaching English, people don't necessarily understand that you might need a break as well. Like, there is this mindset where, they're not working, the students aren't working. So they're like, it's okay, I want a lesson. You can work instead. I definitely don't kind of agree with this constant need to be working. You need to have some time to switch off. And so this year I took the time off and I'm off for like nearly 2 weeks, which is incredible. And I'm so happy about that. That's going to be a really nice time. But I'm just looking forward to slowing down more, playing board games, not being so much on my technology. Like, I'm really going through this phase at the moment where I'm conscious that I spend a lot of time on social media, using technology. I have this YouTube channel, of course, that all takes time as well on the computer. But I really want to kind of be a bit more traditional and do more activities that do not require screen time. So playing board games is something that is so traditional nowadays, perceived anyway, when you have computer games and stuff. But it's something that is really enjoyable and it's something very traditional to do here in South Italy at this time of year. It's also really traditional just to be together, to talk, to have conversations, in-presence interactions. There is an element of life here in South Italy that is super traditional, which I really, really value. And, even down to like your shopping experience, you will go into individual shops for the things that you need rather than going into one shop to buy everything, which is the mentality of the country that I come from. So it's nice. These kinds of traditional moments are really, really nice. And for this reason, I value this simplicity, this traditional way of celebrating. And I am really looking forward to doing more of that this month. And this video has been more of a sit down and chit chat with you. But in January, I want to really take you more behind the scenes of my life and really share with you what I get up to, the things that I do, what goes through my mind, my coping mechanisms, all of this. So I wish you a wonderful Christmas and New Year, and I will see you for the next video in January.